Here in Volume 1, Anne describes her early journey as she discovers God's special work for her. Anne records her experiences as a wife and mother, while Jesus and our Blessed Mother speak to her in the form of locutions about her daily works, joys, and sufferings. This heavenly perspective will change how you view your own everyday experiences as you move closer to Jesus. In the messages, Jesus announces his plan for a great renewal that is coming. It is a mission of mercy, a rescue mission for souls that you are invited to participate in by responding yes to Jesus. We hope you enjoy this audio recording, Volume 1, Thoughts on Spirituality, as given to Anne, a lay apostle. Introduction.
Dear reader, I am a wife, mother of 6, and a secular Franciscan. At the age of 20, I was divorced for serious reasons and with pastoral support in this decision. In my mid-20s, I was a single parent, working and bringing up a daughter. As a daily Mass communicant, I saw my faith as sustaining and had begun a journey toward unity with Jesus through the secular Franciscan order, or Third Order. My sister traveled to Medjugorje and came home on fire with the Holy Spirit. After hearing of her beautiful pilgrimage, I experienced an even more profound conversion. During the following year, I experienced various levels of deepened prayer, including a dream of the Blessed Mother, where she asked me if I would work for Christ. During the dream, she showed me that this special spiritual work would mean I would be separated from others in the world. She actually showed me my extended family and how I would be separated from them. I told her that I did not care. I would do anything asked of me. Shortly after, I became sick. I have been sick ever since with one thing or another. My sicknesses were always the type that mystified doctors in the beginning. This was part of the cross, and I mention it because so many suffer in this way. I was told by a doctor, for example, that I would never conceive children. As a single parent at that time, this did not concern me, as I assumed it was God's will. Soon after, I met a wonderful man. My first marriage had been annulled, and my husband and I married and conceived 5 children. Spiritually speaking, I had many experiences that included what I now know to be interior locutions. These moments were beautiful, and the words still stand out firmly in my heart. But I did not get excited because I was busy offering up illnesses and sometimes exhaustion. I took it as a matter of course that Jesus had to work hard to sustain me, as he had given me a lot to handle. In looking back, I see that he was preparing me to do his work. My preparation period was long, difficult, and not very exciting. From the outside, I think people thought that woman has bad luck. From the inside, I saw that while my sufferings were painful and lasted, my little family was growing in love, in size, and in wisdom, in the sense that my husband and I certainly understood what was important and what was not important. Our continued crosses did that for us. Various circumstances compelled my husband and myself to move with our children far from my loved ones. I offered this up and must say it was the most difficult thing that I have had to contend with. Living in exile brings many beautiful opportunities to align with Christ's will. However, one must be continually reminded that they are aligning themselves with Christ's will. Otherwise, a person would just feel sad. Now, after several years in exile, I finally got the inspiration to go to Medjugorje. It was actually a gift from my husband for my 40th birthday. I had tried to go once before, but circumstances prevented the trip, and I understood it was not God's will. Finally, though, it was time, and my eldest daughter and I found ourselves in front of St. James Church. I did not expect or consider that I would experience anything out of the ordinary. My daughter, who loved it on her first trip, made some jokes about people looking for miracles. At any rate, we had a beautiful 5 days. I experienced a spiritual healing on the mountain. My daughter rested and prayed. A quiet but significant thing happened to me. During my communions, I spoke with Jesus conversationally. I thought this was beautiful, but it had happened before on occasion, so I was not stunned or alarmed. I remember telling others that communions in Medjugorje were powerful. I came home deeply grateful for the journey. The conversations continued with Jesus all that winter. At some time in the 6 months following our trip, the conversations leaked into my life and came at odd times throughout the day. Jesus began to direct me with decision, and I found it more and more difficult to refuse when he asked me to do this or that. I told no one. During this time, I also began to experience direction from the Blessed Mother. Their voices are not hard to distinguish. I do not hear them in an auditory way, but in my soul or mind. By this time, I knew that something remarkable was occurring, and Jesus was telling me that he had special work for me over and above my primary vocation as wife and mother. He asked me to write messages down and said that he would arrange to have them published and disseminated. Looking back, it took him a long time to get me comfortable enough where I was willing to trust him. I trust his voice now, and I will continue to do my best to serve him, given my constant struggle with weaknesses, faults, and the pull of the world. Please pray for me as I continue to try to serve Jesus. Please answer yes to him, because he so badly needs us, and he is so kind. He will take you right into his heart if you let him. I am praying for you, and I am so grateful to God that he has given you these words. Anyone who knows him must fall in love with him, such is his goodness. If you have been struggling, this is your answer. He is coming to you in a special way through these words and the graces which flow through them. Please do not fall into the trap of thinking that he cannot possibly mean for you to reach high levels of holiness. As I say somewhere in my writings, the greatest sign of the times is Jesus having to make do with the likes of me as a secretary. I consider myself the B team, dear friends. Join me, and together we will do our little bit for him.
You see, my child, that you and I have been together for a long time. I was working quietly in your life for years before you began this work. Anne, how I love you. You can look back through your life and see so many yes answers to me. Does that not please you and make you glad? You began to say yes to me long before you experienced extraordinary graces. If you had not, my dearest, I could never have given you the graces or assigned this mission to you. Do you see how important it was that you got up every day in your ordinary life and said yes to your God, despite difficulty, temptation, and hardship? You could not see the big plan as I saw it. You had to rely on your faith. And I tell you today, it is still that way. You cannot see my plan, which is bigger than your human mind can accept. Please continue to rely on your faith, as it brings me such glory. Look at how much I have been able to do with you, simply because you made a quiet and humble decision for me. Make another quiet and humble decision on this day and every day, saying, I will serve God. Last night you served me by bringing comfort to a soul in pain. You decided against yourself and for me through your service to him. There was gladness in heaven, Anne. You are mine, I am yours. Stay with me, my child, stay with me.